Cost of living Australia. Borrowers warned to prepare for Melbourne Cup rate rise. We're sorry, this feature is currently unavailable. We're working to restore it. Please try again later. The Sydney Morning Herald. The Sydney Morning Herald. Sections. Network. Advertisement. Analysis. Money. Planning and budgeting. Interest rates. Borrowers warned to prepare for Melbourne Cup rate rise. By John Collett. Save articles for later. Add articles to your saved list and come back to them anytime. Advertisement. Borrowers are being warned to prepare their budgets for an interest rate peak of 4.35% after higher inflation figures and retail sales data for September have seen odds of a Melbourne Cup Day rate rise shorten. Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock said last week that price pressures had been a little higher than had been expected, but were not a surprise. The bank was still assessing what inflation and other data would mean for its forecasts for the economy. Those struggling with their home loan repayments should talk to their lender. Credit, Marija Erzegovac. However, economists at all four of the Big Four banks expect a 0.25 percentage rate rise on Tuesday, to take the cash rate to 4.35%, though they say a rate increase is not certain. While 4.35% should mark the peak in the cash rate, there is a risk it could tighten beyond that. Any lowering of the cash rate remains a very long way off, the ANZ economists say. Commonwealth Bank economists say the solid pace of retail sales growth in September, higher than market estimates, adds to the case for a resumption of the rate-raising cycle on November 7, a thesis also supported ANZ economists. Retail sales rose 0.9% in September and were up 2% over the last 12 months. An increase in the cash rate of 0.25 percentage points to 4.35% on Tuesday would add $76 a month to the repayments on a $500,000 mortgage with 25 years to run. That would add $1,210 to the monthly repayments on a $500,000 mortgage since the cash rate first rose in May last year, a cumulative increase of 52%, figures from Rate City show. Advertisement. Someone with a $750,000 mortgage with 25 years to run would have seen a total increase in payments of $1,815 since rates started their upward trajectory. Borrowers need to start getting their head around what a 13th rate hike would look like in their budget because, at this point, the data is starting to point in this direction, says Sally Tyndall, the research director at Rate City. A rate hike in November is by no means a done deal, but borrowers should start preparing, nevertheless. Call up your bank today and ask them for a rate cut. The banks are still in the mood to negotiate, especially if they think you're a flight risk, to another lender. Tyndall says. Mozo spokesperson Rachel Wastel says another rise rate would place even more pressure on borrowers, many of whom are just trying to keep their heads above water as they struggle with the exorbitant cost of everyday items like fuel and groceries. Recent Mozo research showed 1 in 6 Aussies are already spending 40 to 60% of their monthly household income on their home loan repayments, so a 13th rate hike is likely to cause some pain, she says. On the Mozo database, the variable rates from the Big Four are currently averaging around 7%, whereas we're seeing smaller lenders offering variable rates starting with 5, Wastel says. A new advertising campaign, overseen by the Australian Banking Association, is urging people not to do it tough on their own. The association's chief executive officer, Anna Bligh, said there were reassuring signs that many customers are navigating the unpredictable economic climate well, but noted it was important to look out for the warning signs of financial stress. Bligh said that the earlier people reached out, the faster banks could help by lowering home loan or credit card loan payments, restructuring the length of a loan, temporarily moving them to interest-only payments or deferring payments for a period. The spiral into financial hardship can happen very quickly, but early assistance can make a real difference. Please talk to your bank, she said. Advice given in this article is general in nature and is not intended to influence readers' decisions about investing or financial products. They should always seek their own professional advice that takes into account their own personal circumstances before making any financial decisions. Expert tips on how to save, invest and make the most of your money delivered to your inbox every Sunday. Sign up for our Real Money newsletter. Interest rates. Analysis. Melbourne Cup. Anna Bligh. Commonwealth Bank. ANZ Bank. Most viewed in money. From our partners. Advertisement. The Sydney Morning Herald. Twitter. Facebook. Instagram. RSS. Copyright 2023.